Hi, it's me, she. I'm back on this Thursday, July 23rd, 2020. Today's an empowering day, a confidence booster day. It is a 7 energy. We're going to get right into this because I want to try to keep the video length a little shorter. Breathing, we're going to start with the breathing. This breathing technique I'm going to teach you today, we're going to change it up a little bit, is by Dr. Andrew Will. Dr. Will has been in this breathing exercise for a while now, and it's very popular. Maybe you've heard of it, maybe you haven't, but it's called 478. And if you have been doing our breathing exercise that I've been teaching you for the last month, then that means that you're ready for this. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about it. This technique is to help relieve anxiety. It's also a technique to help you sleep better, relax better, and actually a really good one for bringing you into a meditative state as well. So the technique, I'm not going to breathe with you. I will do the counting for you, but this is what the technique is. You inhale through your nose for four counts with your mouth closed. Then you hold your breath for 7 seconds, and then we're going to exhale through our mouth for 8 seconds. And so, and to do that 3 times. And when you breathe out, breathe out like you're blowing into a balloon. It's like a whooshing sound, whoosh, to get that out for 8. Okay, sit back, close your eyes, let's relax. Let's begin. Breathe in through the nose, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Breathe out, whoosh, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Again, breathe in through the nose, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Breathe out, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Our last one, breathe in through the nose, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and out, whoosh, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh, okay. Let's get started in this reading. These energies are going to be powerful because, guys, we actually have Aries and Leo. They're 2 fire signs. We're moving into the sign of Leo along with, and remember, Aries is still hanging up there. So the god of war, so it's going to be hot. It's going to heat up. So our energy today that has been powering up the cards, our mystical shaman oracle cards, is the power and protection. It's my Reiki sign of Choco Ray. And that's a very, very powerful crystal. It's a black crystal, a Decian, and it is to help you get rid of all that anxiety, actually help bring in balance of all of our chakras, get that energy up, revved up and moving. So I'm going to put it to the side and I'm going to start on our cards. So energy, let's talk about energy and the frequency of energy. So when we talk about energy, let's see, in science, so we all know Albert Einstein. We all know the equation E equals mc2 squared. The E in that stands for energy. The M in that stands for matter. The C is the speed of light squared. So in energy healing and in creation, what we call creation in the mystical shaman world, being that these energies are have been harnessed and understood by the way of the sages of the shamans and those big powerful masters for lineages and for all time. They have understood the energy of the earth, the energy of creation. And so when you understand that language, you literally are co-creating your life. You know, it's kind of like you visualize, you understand the four directions, you understand the language of the universe via the serpent, the jaguar, the hummingbird, and the eagle. And we've had those cards come up. We talked about it in the last reading. I just did on Tuesday the moon card. And so with that, we are in the intent of understanding those energies. And I feel that was our last card that just fell out in front of me. Okay, yeah, that was it. All right, let's do this. Let's get started so that we can see where we are for this week. So that last card. Wow. All right. The card we start off with today is the blade. And a blade is right up there, a number 6 card. Let me turn this light around so you can see the beauty in that card. So the blade is in front of the sun. The next card that I'm going to do on Tuesday is the sun. We're coming down with the last few cards in what we call the major arcana. And the sun, the last one was the moon. I hope you got a chance to see that. This one is the sun that's coming up. And so that means the energies moving forward is that of the sun. The sun also, in the original tarot deck, it represents the strength card. And the strength card is Leo. The lion, the symbolism is the symbol of Leo. So with those energies in mind coming up this week, when you think about astrology, when you think about personalities, I know quite a few Leos. I actually have 2 in my immediate, sibling. I grew up with 2 Leos, a female version and a male version. And they come in a room. They're there. They may not even say anything. It could just be how they're dressed or how they laugh. They know how to make an entrance. We talked about the lion in the jungle being the king of the forest, the king of the jungle, of wildlife that's on ground. And so that is your energy, the power of that Leo. They're not doers as much as they are advice givers. They really know how to lead, tell you how to do it, when to get it done, but they may not necessarily want to be the one to doing. So with this big sun, with this blade, and this blade is going straight up into the heavens. So with this blade, remember, blades are swords. And swords represents a sharpening of the mind, the body, and the spirit. So it's like it's pointing up, it's summoning the power of the heaven, the sun. Bring down that energy, bring down those good rays, that heat, that hot, pulling it down to ground so that you can anchor the heaven, the power of the heaven, the power of the sun here on earth. The blade is also used as a sword. So when we talk about wielding our sword, or if you have to use it as a tool or a weapon and you pull it out to use it to fight with, you have to make sure you're ready to use it. Because when you're ready to use your sword, and your sword could be your tongue, you want to use it wisely. You want to use it with gentleness. You can also use this blade this week. We're talking about energy, talking about clearing out energy. So that means you can cut those cords, those energies that been lingering. We've been purging. And so if you got some lingering cords or energies from the past that is toxic and that is no longer needed in your life, this is the great week to make sure you sever all of those toxic relationships, guys, because you do not want to take this energy of toxicity into 2021 when we're moving into our destiny, our purpose, our main help into a better spiritual, soulful, healthier way of being. Because if you're carrying the toxic, you're not going to be able to elevate and bring down all of that good stuff, those blessings that's ready to shower you, that milk and honey that will overflow. Also, I'm going to remind you, if you use your sword, means you use it to stab. You don't want to do it when you're angry, because if you're going to use it, you want to make sure you're being decisive. You want to make sure that you are being reasonable, that all of your faculties are lined up. So when you pull your sword, it is done. And it is done with the best outcome. And there's no fear. There's no unnecessarily hurting or killing. Or, when we say kill, we mean you've gotten rid of. You have extinguished. It no longer exists in your life, even though it may exist somewhere else, just not in your energy. Our next card is another 6. Wow. Okay, I'm telling you guys, the 6 is here back to back. You got to persevere through this. And it came up last week. It's saying, make sure that you are prepared emotionally, mentally, physically to press through, to persevere through these difficult times. So the staff is going to help you hold on to your power so that while you're persevering, while you're trying to maintain your balance, doing all of this chaos, all of this upheaval, all of this change is necessary. But the staff is giving us a symbol of authority. So it's saying while you're holding on, when things get heated or hot, that you are able to manage by holding on to, your temper, your anger. You're able to balance, your highs and your lows. You kind of put it right in the middle. You don't give too much and you don't give not enough. You just give right. You're right in the middle of yourself. When I say giving of yourself in all ways right now, because you have to persevere to make it to the other side. So if you empty yourself out emotionally, physically, mentally, now you're going to run out of energy just when we get to the last mile, because the last mile is going to be the toughest. So right now, if you're balancing, you're learning to balance. When it's time to come out of the wilderness, so to say, you'll still have enough to go that last mile. So think of an athlete. You're watching, let's say a fight, for example, boxers. And one boxer is getting beat up really, really bad. And his eye might be all swollen, lip all bust out. The other opponent is been running around, swinging, using up all their energy. But the other opponent has been kind of taking those blows. And then when they see the right opportunity, it only takes one swing and boom, bam. The one that's been running around, swinging, just when they need it, because the match is going the distance, it's not a quick fight, it's going the distance. And so you don't want to get to the end of the distance and not have enough in you to summons up the power and take that last bit of power energy inside of yourself and summon it up, and so you can come out the winner. The staff also tells the story of Moses. So Moses took this serpent, this staff, and turned it into a serpent in the desert. In the Hebrew Bible, the King James Version, they talk about Moses using the power of that staff to heal or to call upon plagues. And the Pharaoh would say, oh, that's nothing. He would bring in his musicians and they would do the same thing. But what his musicians couldn't do, that Moses was able to do, again, he made it to the last mile. When they kind of ran into the water and they get to the water and they need to cross, and Moses used that staff to part the sea, to move those waters out of the way so the people could get through. And then he was able to close it, but again, coming from a higher source, a higher power. So that's why we've been talking about co-creating with Spirit, with God, with having the perseverance and the faith and the understanding that the tools that he's providing means on the other side of what has to be done, coronavirus, all of the different natural disasters that are happening around us. People are dying in the streets, fighting, killing, shooting. All of those things are magnified at this time. And it's just getting higher and higher and higher. And you're going to need this staff to help you be able to stand strong, help balance you. So when you were caught off balance, remember you got the staff to try to bring you back, to lean on for a little bit, to help bring you back into center, so that destiny, when it's time, it'll be able to easily take its course, because anything that you need to make corrections on at this time, use the staff when you do get tired or you do find yourself feeling stressed out or a little sad, or just the course of the day and everything that's happening around us, that it starts to hit you. Just remember that you have the authority on behalf of Spirit, higher Spirit of God. You have the authority to use that staff to help you get through all of the plagues, all of the healing that needs to do, all of the cords that you need to cut, because sometimes those relationships that are toxic, that no longer need to be in our energy, they're tough. Sometimes they're tough. They're ending. Sometimes sibling relationships, intimate relationships, as far as lovers, boyfriend, girlfriends, husbands, partners, jobs, relationships, just platonic friendships. All of those things are what has to be examined. And if you don't make the decision, it will happen sooner or later, but the timing may not be when you expected it. And so then therefore, the pain of it all is just that much stronger. Guys, I'm telling you, we had the blade, the staff. Now we got the mystical shaman. The power of the mystical shaman itself is here. And when we add 8 and 3, we come up with 11. And 11 is a spiritual number. 11 is a very powerful spiritual number. And so with the mystical shaman, I told you about the energy, the E equal MC squared, the energy. The shamans are the ones who mastered the energy. And it is said that they dance on top of that equal sign into the heads of the scientists, because the M is matter. Matter is the human body. It's us. And so when you're dealing with the body, you're dealing with science. The doctors, the scientists tell us, when we're sick, is something wrong with our body. They tell us from a scientific mind how to heal, or how to treat the body, or how to take control of the symptoms. But they don't actually heal you. They say, here, take this aspirin till the headache goes away. So the aspirin will try to make you not feel the pain while you rest, drink plenty of water, whatever, while the body is doing the work. Or you have surgery. Then the doctor says, okay, we just did the surgery on you. Now I'm going to give you some pain medication so that your body can heal, so you can relax and allow the body to do the work. Well, the shaman, the shaman actually uses the energy of the body. The shaman understands the energy, understands the spirit, the soul of the body. And it knows how to, through vibration and energy work and energy healing, and people who are healers, that is some of the work that I do. It's going directly to the root of the problem, so to say. That's what those chakras are about. Understanding those frequencies and those energy matters of those chakras and how that energy moves through the body, so you can heal yourself. So you don't need to self-medicate, or, you can literally heal your spirit and your soul. And that's what we have been working on. Healing our soul, healing our spirit. Your soul, everybody, you can say everybody has an individual soul, but you only have one spirit. And so with this symbol, it means mythology. The shamans come from lineages, and they tell stories for hundreds and hundreds of years, just like the Bible, the book of the Bible. Well, those are written stories of the history or our lineage in our spiritual path, where elders from different cultures, from the Andes to the Americas to Europe, Africa, they all have these stories, and the stories are usually told by ancestors. They're not written stories. Some days, people do autobiographies, but autobiographies from the years past, from history or decades, centuries, the shamans or the elders would tell stories, and they would pass it on to the next generation and the next generation and the next generation. And they also teach, and there's so many, there's somatic, there's many different lineages within different cultures that teach the next generation how to dance through worlds, because history is important, guys. You cannot just pretend that history, in order to create history today, we have to know the history of yesterday, because there's nothing new under the sun. So when the shaman is dancing between the upper and the lower worlds and the middle world here, they wear their cloak, their clothing, their wrap, their cloth has a history. It has a story. So when you we talk about our elders, let's say we go to Europe and they have the Scottish. Each family or lineage or line has a different plaid, a different cloth. When you go to the Andes, they have they're wearing this poncho, and it's weaved with different threads and different styles. It's a lineage of history. It's like their name. When you go to the Indian reservation, in this shaman has a headdress of feathers. Those feathers, those animals, those birds that he used to make up that headdress tells a story, a history of past. And some of it seems as though these stories or these myths are made up, but it's like they have this cloth or this symbolage that is proof that it exists or that it happened, and that the story is told around it. You go to Africa, different African continents or groups of people have different kente cloth. All has a different color. It's the same thing. When here in the United States, you go down south, or the southern accent says where your people came from, or you say who was your mama, who was your grandfather, and that's how people know you, by your surname. Surnames is all through Europe. When you go and you fill out applications or something in Europe, they don't say like we say here in America, last name. They say surname. So it's all experience of what that lineage was. And so that is the true element of life. When you understand the spiritual aspect, how the material world, so to say, that's wrapped up in a mystical manifestation of opportunity or a life or a history that brings in the importance of what the mystical shaman means in each of us, and how it wraps us in a mystery that says we all one. So, for example, with this card being 11 and it is spiritual, that says that we are all one, because if we were created here in this time period, so to say, and this time period goes from the 1600s, 1400s, or 400 BC, 300 AD, whatever the time period is, it goes all the way back to the story they tell, the first two humans were Adam and Eve. Well, if there was two people in the beginning that was a part of creation, then that means when you go back lineages, you roll back in time, we all go back to Adam and Eve. And so through the births and the growth of the human lifespan, it can all be traced back to those two DNA, that first human. And the mystical shaman, they were a part of understanding that, coming from spirit world. coming from. And when I say mystical shaman, I'm talking about a lineage of people. It's just being used under that history of a powerful experience. And so if that is that we come from dirt and we come from spirit and we all have a soul, we are all connected. So, for example, I heard a story under the shaman lineage is they say if the Holocaust happened, then it happened to all of us. If slavery happened, then it happened to all of us because we're all connected under that sun. Nothing is new under the sun. We've all have experienced it. We've all taken part in it. And the stories that are told are how we even know they existed. Because today in our landscape, they're talking about social justice. They're talking about the inequality that has happened to the Black race coming here to the United States as slaves and how they were treated. And so from that story is how we know, because there's no one living today who personally was in the beginning back in the 1800s when this country, or 1700s, when this country was coming into being. There's nobody living to say that I was there. And the only reason why we know the story is because of our ancestors who shared those stories. And we also have to believe that some of those stories that was written was only written from a different account, from a different perspective, and from different histories. And so that is where we are today. Our world is in a change. The change has to happen so that we can move into the next phase. Or it's like a egg is being birthed. A golden egg is being born. And as that golden egg is being incubated, so to say, before it comes through the womb of the earth, it will be painful. You know, think about when a woman has a child, baby, when you're pregnant, and that baby incubates in the womb of the mother. It takes 9 months. And if the baby comes out sooner, then they're fearful that it wasn't ready. So it could be sick, or the lungs may not be developed fully. And if the baby stays in too long, then that means that the other side of it, something is wrong. And so they have to have extra care. So we are in the womb, see Pachamama, of Mother Gaia, Pachamama. We are in the womb of Pachamama as she's birthing these changes that has taken place here through those stories of old, through those myths, whether it's the myth from the gods from Greece, or the myths of the Roman era, or the myths of the Americas, or the creation of the United States, people coming from Europe to this land, or the myths of Asia. You know, all of these empires at one point was great, you know, whether it was the Persian Empire, the Ottoman Empire, you know, the China was at one time, they were great. The Great Wall of China was built because it was a great world in history. The Roman Empire, they ruled the world. And at some point, for those changes to occur, there was a lot of pain. A lot of people died in those wars. When those empires now cease to exist, and so we have a new empire, And the United States is supposed to be the world's biggest country, economy. It leads the world. And so it's going through a change as well. And it's time to have a new birth, a new direction. And in order for that to happen, Pachamama is the one who's in control of, with Creator, of this change. So you cannot say, okay, yes, the coronavirus here, they say it came from Wuhan. The story, how they tell the story of that, and we've heard different stories, again, some of it true, some of it's not. But we really don't know because none of us was involved. Unless you were, then I'm wrong. Those who were involved are the ones who really know what happened, and we can only go by their stories. But you can't tell me that it wasn't orchestrated through something bigger than us. So, for example, when you think about earthquakes and natural disasters, and they say, oh, man is destroying, humans are destroying Pachamama. And so in order for Pachamama to fix herself, there's nothing we can do, say, oh, they're talking about getting rid of cows, no more flying, no more this, no more that. Well, we already are there. We see what is happening. We had a food shortage. We had meat shortage during this pandemic. Air travel, they say the planes were causing too much, damage in the ozone. Well, they've been grounded. And so we have seen how the earth is evolving herself. Mother is, we are the children of this earth. And Pachamama represents unconditional love for the earth itself. She is the goddess of the earth. She is, you've heard of Gaia and Mother Earth. She is creation on our planet. And even though they're talking about going to other planets, unknown places and all of that, in the meantime, Earth is our home. And so Pachamama is here, guys. She's saying, I'm in control. I am working on, it's a number 4. It's stability. It's structure. It's balance. I am balancing this energy, this earth, because when I'm finished, you better believe the Garden of Eden, the beauty of Pachamama is waiting on the other side when she finished incubating and birthed our new world. So when you hear people talking about, oh, we have changed, we're birthing a new world, that is what is happening. It's just, but the time may not be 9 months. It's just like a mother bearing a child. The time is not 9 months. The timing is of her timing. And so we just got to go through it. We have to persevere it. We're here at 7. Again, today's the 7th day. I'm telling you guys, these energies, I can't make this stuff up. And then we have water. Again, water. It's been raining. Thunder, raining, water. Remember I told you these emotions? We just came out of Cancer. And with Cancer, it's emotion, it's water. The moon governs the water. But if you don't have your water in balance, then that means you are a mess. You are a hot mess. That means that with all the birthing and the incubating that's going on, you are emotionally all over the place, and that's not good for your health. It's not good for your well-being. And now that we're moving into a double fireball, meaning this summer we haven't even gotten to August. and the temperatures are already really, really hot. We've already had 100-degree days. And so August is coming and it's going to be even hotter. And so with all that emotion, we're talking about boiling water. So that's why it's important to get rid of anybody who will bring in toxicity into your energy, into your environment. Any situation that's toxic, it's only going to be more damaging. And then that's where the people are not surviving because they are weak. And we truly are, I can't sugarcoat it, in a time of when they say only the strong will survive. And when I used to grow up, that was, was like, you have to learn to be a warrior because only the strong survives. My light went out again. So, and the battery says it's okay. But we're going to keep going. We're almost done here. But this water too is a symbolization of purification, regeneration, birth, revival, cleansing, purification of evolution, a shift. It's like we're shedding, we're cleansing, so that when we come through mother's womb on the other side of this, we will be renewed. We will have we'll be new people, new bodies, new way of looking at things, new way of looking at life. It's also, think about the Great Flood. Many cultures talk about a flood. The one that I know the best is Noah's Ark. And, this is what we're going through. We're going through a regeneration. We're going through a change, a shift. And so while this shift is happening, while it's going on, guys, it's the same stuff we've been talking about for the last month. And so I'm just going to say, now is the time through this pregnancy. You really have to make sure that you are doing the work. So as this new creation unfolds, you will be here and you will come out on the other side, shinier, smarter, more light shining, more beautiful, more of everything will come. I'm sorry, I'm laughing because this crow is here. We had this crow last week. He's a number 4. He's a number 4. Again, balance. Remember I told you guys about that crow? About this little crow? If this little crow, he's out there. He's watching. Things are missing. Because remember, he's the keeper of energy, the universe, and all its laws. The law of truth. The crow is here again. He's saying, we talking about purging, right? And I said you have to cut cords, get rid of, make sure you don't keep dragging along with you those toxic relationships. Because this crow, guys, he's here to say, walk your talk. Don't just talk and don't do. You cannot be all talk. If you use your tongue, your sword, you pull your sword, you better use it. Don't be messing around. This ain't no time to be messing around. Practice living your truth. Know who you are when you get up in the morning. Don't let it, because if you don't know who you are, I read where Jamie Dimon is the CEO of JP Morgan, which is a power broker. And JP Morgan said when he lost his job before he became the CEO of JP Morgan, it wasn't an easy climb. That he was working at another bank and Citigroup with another partner, and they worked together for 15 years. And then one day, because Jamie wanted to climb the ladder, his boss wasn't ready to retire, so he said, "I'm gonna have to fire you. I'm sorry, because I'm not ready to step down." And he said something very powerful. He said, "I did not lose who I am. I might have lost the job, but I didn't lose me." And so in this transition that we are in the middle of it, we're just in the middle of it, as we're going through our incubation time, our being in the womb, being in the sweat lodge, that this is time for purification. This is time to really get to know thyself. And this journey that I've been on, and many of you have been with me from the beginning, know that know thyself means know thyself. Know who you are. Every morning, this is what we've been working on. We've been working on clearing out. We've been working on going through the dark night of the soul, meaning going inside, not outside, so you can clear out all that stuff. Even, we are part of a lineage, and a part of our lineage is who our parents and our parents' experiences and the things they shared and taught us. Some of those things are no longer needed in this new world. So you have to get rid of it. You have to forgive. You have to heal. And so in that healing, as you becoming anew again, renewing your commitments, renewing your faith, renewing and knowing who you are when you put your feet on the floor after a night's rest, is going to be the difference between those who are going to be told what they're doing, where they're going, how they're living, and you having a blissful, happy, balanced joy for life, because you are unshakable, because you have a sword. You know when to use it, when to cut toxic out of your life, not just today, but from ever until you go into your spirit. You have a staff to lean on when you feel weak, when you feel your emotions need to be put in check. You know you have the mystical shaman. This mystical shaman brings the ancient ones. The mystical shaman brings the counsel to the table. The mystical shaman brings the magic. The mystical shaman tells Jesus. Jesus has told the mystical shaman what to do. The mystical shaman has worked with the angels. And so you got all of that backup helping you get through this birth, these birthing pains that Mother is taking us through. Guys, the last card, and we're going to finish it here, the Holy Mountain. Let me see if I can get this light to shine just a little bit longer so you can take a look at the Holy Mountain. Did I tell you guys that this card is a 7? I can't make this up. We have 7 cards. Today is a number 7 day. Our last card is the Holy Mountain. We have the confidence. We have everything we need at this time to make it through the end of this year. Oh my goodness, I'm getting emotional because this this card just summed up the entire energy, the entire boldness, the entire confidence that we have as we shaking through, moving through, doing what we gotta do, guys. Remember, the holy mountain is the mountain of all mountains. You know, the earth recognized mountains and and great places on this beautiful Gaia Pachamama earth as spirit. And so a lot of people go to mountains. Come on over to the mountain so you can hear the voice of the Lord. In ancient Greece, they have Mount Olympus. There is the 12 gods and goddesses. They live on Mount Olympus. In Tibet, pilgrims go to Mount Kailash to see Shiva, the great warrior of that lineage, of that culture, of that spirit in Nepal. Then you have Peru. Pilgrims go all the way to Machu Picchu to climb the Andes, those great mountains over there, because they're trying to be invited to feel the energy, see the vision, have the perspective. You know, in Jerusalem, they talk about Jesus having the Sermon on the Mount. You know, it's like having and making the commitment with spirit. Remember, there's only one spirit, and we all share that spirit. We all have an individual soul, but there's only one spirit in God, and we all share that. So whatever sacred mountain we climb or we visit, whether it's in meditation, which I have done multiple times, found myself having a meditation experience or out-of-body experience where I was able to walk amongst the energy and the power of the spirit of those mountains. And when you're walking with courage, love, and compassion, then you can see, when you get to the top of that mountain, guys, and you stand there and you look down, and you don't have to go physically. That's why I've been helping you learn to breathe, teaching you the different breathing exercises so that you can go in. And when you go in, you go through your spiritual eye and you allow spirit to move that energy. God to give you a movie camera, so to say, behind your closed eyes so that you can experience how he sees the world. And then you can see it, you can see everything we've been talking about. When we talk about going to our crown chakra and moving from that 7 chakras that we talked about here up into the heavens, into 8 and 9 levels. Remember last week we talked about the realms. We talked about being in a higher spirit, to be able to see above the 3D world that we live in. And when you're living in enlightenment, that means God has lit your soul on fire. And it means that fire is warm. It's not boiling you. It's not burning you. It's like a warm bath, like a baby taking a warm bath. And that water purifies you, cleans your soul. And then when this is all over and your phoenix come arising, woo, you're going to have that holy mountain, oh my God, waking you up every day. So I'm going to leave it right there, guys. You need to climb your mountain. take your steps. You have to take baby steps. We're at the bottom of that mountain and we're on our way. And so when you get to the top, and you can go as many times as you like, you can rule that mountain because you'll be able to see with clear vision, a clear heart, and your compassion and your love for this world. You will feel Pachamama. She will take care of you. She will provide for you because God has told her to. Guys, I love you. And when I say that with my whole being. So if no one has told you they love you, I love